According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the number of adults age 65 or older is expected to reach more than 80 million by the year 2040. And by 2060, it will reach more than 94 million, nearly 25% of the U.S. population. So with this increase in our seniors, there's also an increase in cases of Alzheimer's disease. Here to talk about the latest information on Alzheimer's, we have Kim Elliott from Brookdale Senior Living. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning.
So talk to us about how prevalent Alzheimer's is in the U.S.
You know, the numbers are just staggering. If you look at it, we have 7 million Americans living with it today over the age of 65, and that's going to rise. They're saying 13 million with a diagnosis by 2050. So if you think about that, that's about 75% of people 75 and older will have Alzheimer's disease.
Very alarming and a little scary, too. So what are some of the early warning signs of Alzheimer's and cognitive decline?
Sure. Often those early signs are very subtle. You may not even pick up on it, but many times when people are diagnosed, family members look back and say, yeah, I remember that 9 months ago when that happened at that event. So you got to really pay attention, and you'll see, of course, memory loss and some disorientation, but often it comes on slow. So maybe it's poor judgment. They're typically great decision makers. They make a decision that doesn't sound like them at all. Difficulty with tasks they do on a daily basis of getting dressed, all the way dressed, including socks with their shoes. You'll notice that they forget small steps of what that daily task is. Many people will say, I lose my keys, I lose my glasses, I'm afraid I have Alzheimer's disease. But just keep in mind, it's not the fact that you lose your keys. It's the fact that when you get them back, you know what those keys are for and you know what to do with the key.
That's a big difference right there. Is there anything we can do to prevent this? Maybe even be more physically active?
Physical activity is so important in all stages of our life. We think we often want to do it to stay in shape or to lose weight, but it is so important for the brain to be able to keep your blood pumping. It really helps with your brain health. It decreases your risk for Alzheimer's disease. And when you're a senior, you get older, you have excuses for not exercising. Maybe it's a bad knee or your back, but it's so important, and it doesn't have to be a lot. Just simply walking every single day really reduces your risk of getting these kinds of conditions.
And talk about socialization. How important is that as we get older?
It's so important. We've all experienced that because we've lived through the pandemic. So think about it. We weren't out and about. We weren't talking to other people. Our social skills declined. We felt awkward when we were out, and maybe anxiety when we were out with people. It's the same thing that happens with seniors. The less they leave their home, the less interaction they have with others, the more likely you are to see this kind of decline. So have conversations, different people. It really sparks your brain. It keeps you thinking, and it's just overall a very important thing.
Yeah, a good reminder that we should all be checking in a little more on older loved ones or neighbors, people in our community. So where can we go to get more information?
Sure. You can go to brookdale.com/memory. We've been doing this for many years, and just finding an expert in it, getting the resources you need. Nobody can go through this without help, so don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, a lot of great tips here. Kim, thanks so much for sharing them with us.
Thank you.
Always nice to, have those conversations, because when you have loved ones who are going through either Alzheimer's or dementia, it's a very tough time for the whole family.
It is, especially, if you're a son or a daughter in a caregiver, that's emotionally overwhelming, and it can, you can feel alone at times because you're watching your loved one just gradually slip away from you, and the sad reality is there's no cure for this at this point. There have been such great advancements as far as trying to slow the progression. Even just yesterday,
we heard
new word on a new medication for those that are kind of in those earlier stages to slow the progression of it. But man, I think we just all dream and hope for a world one day that this is something we don't have to worry about anymore, and that we can have a cure for our loved ones. For those that have been through it, you understand personally, I understand personally, when you have a loved one that is dealing with dementia or Alzheimer's, it's tough.
It is.
It's tough, and you want the best for them, you want the best care for them. And you want to meet them where they are in their memory journey.
Yes. That's very important.
That's
sharing photos
a key part of it.
and car rides and just, trying to have some good memories with them.
Right.
Yeah. Well,